Good morning, everybody. This is Christy. I am the Intimate Warrior. I thank you so much for stopping by. And as always, I send you love. In this video, I want to talk about the relationship between Orion and us as human beings and how it relates to our consciousness within, as well as our organs, because Orion, of course, along with other star systems, has a significance in the play of who we are. Now, you may be familiar that Orion's belt lines up with the Great Pyramids. That's very true. There is always more, and I find it very interesting. I find it comforting to know, because we have always known by the fact that we always look up. We look up to the night stars, to the evening sky, and we're like, we think it's just because it's beautiful. No. For myself, it's because there's something there. Something meaningful, something that we belong to. Our history is embedded within the stars. Our understanding, our origins originate from the stars. And as I began to wake up, or realize something was shaking within me 2 years ago, that's the star system. Orion's belt is what I kept looking at all the time. And of course, it's a significant star system and it's noticeable, but my eyes were always catching Orion's belt if I could see it within the evening sky. So, in religion, in our spiritual growth, we're going to come across many aspects of throughout history that are going to come up. The Egyptian times are going to come up within our spiritual growth. You're going to come in contact with some form of Egyptian god or goddess in relationship to you. And that was something that I've always had a deep connection with Egypt. I've loved. My favorite movie of all time is The Ten Commandments, with Moses and the Pharaoh, of course. And I found it fascinating that something was drawing me to this period. And of course, any kind of documentary that pertains to Egypt, I am fascinated with. One day, I'm going to go visit. But of course, I can visit within my mind and my heart currently. So anyway, I've had a fascination and a deep-rooted lineage through it. And I understand. And also, and it's making sense to me even more so now. And I think I'm going to hold off because I think I'm making a connection here. And I'm going to see where it flows before I make a video about that. And so we will also, within our process, come upon whether it's the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, other aspects, the cross. These things exist, whether it's in the Bible, in religion, whatever it is, because it's within you. So let's go. Now I'm going to try and make this as brief as I possibly can. So we know that the ancient Egyptians have held a specific link between something. They knew something. Very intelligent beings. And very advanced in society. So, the Egyptians have a lot of history with Orion. Orion is, to the Egyptians, Osiris. And logically also wishes the soul of his reincarnated son, Horus. So when you look at Orion's belt, of course, this is the system itself, the constellation itself is also known as the Archer. So Orion is the Archer, and it looks like an individual shooting a crossbow, or an arrow, bow and arrow, or some people see it as a sword. But from what I see from myself, it's a bow and arrow, but it doesn't really matter. So if you take off that bow and arrow, though, the Orion, the body part of it, is in the shape of the cup, the Holy Grail. Now, what does this mean in relationship to you? You have the Holy Grail, which is the entire system there, minus the bow and arrow, the pineal gland. So the three stars of the belt is the pineal gland, pituitary gland, and the thalamus. I have spoken so much about the pineal gland, pituitary gland, and the thalamus throughout this process. The thalamus area is also known as the Cave of Brahma in different understandings. So this center, of course, everything plays out within our brain. There's such an importance with everything. Without the medulla being awoken, without the cerebellum being awoken, without the synchronicity between the left and right hemispheres of the brain, nothing is possible. So everything is so important and significant. But I wanted, because I find it fascinating that when there's scriptures in the Bible that talk about your cup runneth over. And see, when this cup, if you're imagining the Holy Grail and the pituitary, the pineal gland, and the thalamus area, so your midbrain region here is the Orion's belt. You're in the top portion, and then the bottom portion, top of the cup, and then the bottom of the cup. Your cup is filling with light, with essence, with fluid, with that nectar. And of course, this is that process. It could be a slow process sometimes, but it's taking place where the essence is filling our cup, our brain with light, with upgrades, with knowledge, with remembrance, and activating different portions of our brain. And because this is a process of it tapping into different centers and awakening different centers gradually, it may seem like sometimes you're there and then sometimes you're not, because we're always, again, it's flipping back and forth and moving along, because it has to be a casual process. If we are given more than what we can handle, it can actually do us more harm. So we are still at this point of of still remembering and tapping into who we are, like the Akashic records. We're still trying to get there because the process is seeping in a little slower. The Alta Major plays a significant role in receiving information pertaining to the Akashic records, that 0 point energy. And I'm going to... So when you look at a diagram, and that's what I just... when you look at a diagram here of your brain, you'll have the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. We are trying to wake up both subconscious and unconscious mind within us, because even though we can tap more into the subconscious, there's communication there, but underlying that unconscious mind, which is attached to the cerebellum, and which is also attached to the area of where the mouth of God, Alta Major, well of dreams, is attached to, which also connects with your medulla oblongata and goes through into the throat. This center is huge and plays, again, a more significant role in tapping into this 0 point energy field to where you are where you will be able to access more information. So I never mentioned this a couple of days ago. My book was given to me within my vision. I mean, right up close, and it was twirling in front of me, where I could see that it was made of leather, and it had this emblem on the front of the book where ordinarily your name is going to be at, but it flipped so quickly that I couldn't even see that my name was on there or not. So I haven't opened my book yet. But if you recall, what day was it that I mentioned? I don't know. A week ago, last week, no more than 2 weeks ago, where that library appeared. That golden trimmed library and that golden ladder appeared. Giving me entryway already. I was there, I was present, I just couldn't get to that bookshelf. Then all of a sudden, 2 days ago, there's my book. A long time ago, I really wanted to know instantly. A long time ago, when I began to awaken and learned up there I could tap into this. Of course, I was really terrified of tapping into this area as well, because, oh my gosh, that means I really have to face me. I have to face me. And that's why this healing process, shadow work, is so essential to our growth. If we can't face ourselves in what we think is our troubles and what we are unaccepted about within ourselves, whether it's we don't like our appearance, whether we don't like certain aspects of who we are, how we act out, or whatever it is, our past mistakes, if we are unable to face that, let those go, heal on them, how can we tap into the big book? So, the intention already, if you are setting the intention of accessing, getting more information, becoming your higher self, then you are actually requesting from Source the healing process. And that's why we have every experience, every emotion comes up in our life, because we have asked for more knowledge. So it's really important here, if you guys are asking for more information, that you are able to see what is coming into your life. so that you can heal from it. Everything matters. And everything is as a result of what we are asking for. And of course, your heart is speaking to what you are ready for. And I know you guys know that the Holy Grail is what Christ drank from at the Last Supper, which contained, which was used to collect his blood after his crucifixion. And this is where the Holy Grail, the blood, and the crucifixion, the cross, becomes, again, an internal process between you. You are the Holy Grail. You have the Holy Grail that sits within your brain connection there, and it's kind of your brain and your throat connection. You will have another smaller Grail that connects into your heart. You have another Grail that actually is within our sexual region. Each center fills with the blood of Christ, which is the light, the essence, which is also your CSF, that secretion that comes up and fills every single month. That moon and sign that I have been speaking about, raising the chrism, that's what it's about. It fills. And the blood is that light, that sacred seed. It is the word. It is everything about light that fills. And the crucifixion, it's also the representation of the cross, but it's when the CSF, the life force energy, has rested in the back of the base of the skull, where the cerebellum is, in the neck, and it amplifies, it intensifies, it increases. That's the true meaning of what crucifixion means, or crucifix, to crucify. It means to intensify, or to increase in power. And before I end this, I find this very interesting because the Orion's belt is actually the archer again. This is a warrior, a soldier. It is actually you defeating the ego. And that's, I think I also mentioned it in my video, that I saw a soldier person kind of shot out the rod, because of Jesus had the rod. I mean, Moses had that rod and the staff. And of course, the staff is a representation of Christ as well. So you have that rod was thrown, and the soldier was using his sword, stabbing and slicing at something below him. And it was a representation of defeating the ego death. And that's what the true meaning of that soldier represents. You're destroying the lower mind, defeating those demons within. And this is because the full function of the brain is at work here. Without this full function of our brain in complete unity, with all the centers open, love consciousness, or all knowing, pertaining to your life, of course, excuse me, isn't possible. This unity consciousness, love consciousness, isn't possible. Of course, if you're at this, place, I've lost my train of thought at this moment, so bear with me. As we continuously open up to love, all of these centers open up. And the more that our brain functions properly, the more that our heart fills with the life force energy as well, which ignites us into that, again, unity, love consciousness, where our vibration is rising. So, excuse my last portion there, where my mind began to fail me there. So how am I feeling today? Still spacey. Not as bad as it has been for the past couple of days, but still present. And actually, this morning, I woke up feeling quite angry. Angry for myself, but not to the point of really being agitated. I'm noticing that there is a grudge that I feel like I am retaining, and I am choosing to rise above this emotion. Today, I am going to be conscious of it and see where it takes me, because I don't want to hold grudges, because that is, again, a limitation. Although this is a purification process, I understand that and I see it, but I am still going to step into my higher self today as best as I possibly can and choose love. Now, I know it's not always going to be easy. Today I have a feeling I can manage it. Sometimes there are times when the negative emotion is there, and I'm my mind is attempting to connect with my heart, and I might for a few seconds, and then I fall back down. And again, I know that's still a process that we can't hold over against ourselves, but it's a process sometimes that, I am better than this. I am better than this, but it's still giving ourselves compassion. Give yourself compassion to get through whatever you're experiencing, because it's not always about you either. It's not about you not being a good person or not choosing wisely. It is just that purification process. Something is retaining, and in order for it to be cleared, you have to feel it for a little bit longer than a few seconds, a few hours. Sometimes it could be a couple of days. Let it be. If it's there, let it be. Don't fight it. It has to make its way out. So if it comes up where you just can't shake it loose, it's okay. It's what it is, and it will pass. There is still something inside that has to be cleared. This is Christy. Much love, health, and healing your way. I am bringing purpose to your life. Take care.